Welcome back to Pass the Aisle. And I'm Kevin.
I'm Meg.
And today we're talking about thinking out loudly. And in addition to things that you want to mention. So I found a topic called healing the body. So let's dive in.
All right.
So thinking out loudly, from what I recall, is we ran into certain situations in our relationship where we'll just have a normal conversation. One person is either mentioning something that happened to them at their job or at a wedding.
Yeah.
And the other person just kind of voices their opinions, but they didn't know how to voice their opinion to their partner in a correct format. Or I mean, there's no format, but it just kind of feels like an attack. Or when it comes to an idea that you would kind of just mention, right? Or how I just kind of approach you sometimes, it feels like an attack. So, yeah, let's kind of talk about that. That's like thinking out loudly.
You call that thinking out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that a defense?
So thinking out loudly is...
No, calling it thinking it out loudly when clearly, in my experience, because I'm on the receiving end, and to give a clear example is like, I'm writing checks, the writing checks thing. So that's a really common example of when you will approach me and it's like, I've been doing it all wrong and I've been doing this. Well, how come you haven't been doing this? That's how it comes off, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm like, okay, so you should just tell me that if you want to just do checks this way, then just tell me that from now on. And I give you an example of how to say it. From now on, we're going to do checks like this.
Yeah. So, yeah, like there's ways to... You can still... It's important that thinking out loudly can be used as a great way to communicate in a relationship, but you have to kind of approach it in like the safest way. So you have to kind of back up like your words. You just can't just say it the way I said it to you. You know?
What do you mean?
So you know how where you say like you have to kind of... Some things are just either meant to not to be said, like don't say it at all. But keeping it in will actually cause even more resentment, or just keeping it in will cause you to explode in different times, in different situations. So it's always good to voice your opinion, but then you have to kind of let your partner know this is your opinion and there's two sides to this opinion.
So how would you do that?
So you would have to kind of prep your partner up.
You tell me how you would do that to me.
Yeah, so... versus saying like, if I was to prep you in writing those checks, for example, for that situation,
yeah,
we would, I would say, okay, I want to just kind of like, I'm just kind of thinking, it's kind of hard, but
I want you to go through it, and I'll let you know after you just go through it, and because I see now on the outside, and I'm not taking anything personally. Yeah, I can let you know where your language pattern can maybe change.
Mm-hmm. So, besides addressing like, oh, can you put all those checks within one check versus multiple checks? I would just kind of address. I believe this is just my opinion. I would just kind of say that. This is just my opinion, and I believe this will kind of benefit us from saving more checks in the future. Mm-hmm. Can you, or what do you think about having checks consolidated versus just having multiple checks? That makes the system a lot more confusing.
Okay.
But it's sort of like you want to support your opinion. And you want your opinion to be heard, or you want your... Are
you talking about your opinion right now?
I'm just talking about as an example.
Be really, try to be really clear and just use us.
Yeah.
Like when I want to tell you something differently, I'm going to say it like this now.
Mhm.
And then versus doing it before like this.
Uh-huh.
So what I hear is like, which I normally hear is tiptoeing around. How do I say this in the nicest way?
Yeah.
And I think I need to be very clear and like, you don't need to be like nice all the time.
Yeah.
You just need to be very clear.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from you not having a good teacher when you were young.
Uh-huh.
You know how you say your dad doesn't know how to teach? Like, you don't know how to teach either.
Yeah.
Where it comes off like you can't, like, it's so wishy-washy,
Mhm.
where it's like, I'm not clear exactly what I need to do right now. Like, I'm okay with getting directions. That's why I said, and you were going to tell me, like, during that time, you were kind of tiptoeing around your words because you were, like, afraid to offend me, how you're saying it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's not the correct way to
but you
address
could tell
a
me.
situation.
What I'm saying is you can
Yeah.
just tell me and say, like I said before, is like, no, just tell me. If this is how checks are supposed to be done, just say that. Okay, from now on, we're going to do checks like this.
Yeah.
I don't need to be, I was like, with checks, I'm like, okay, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But I don't think that's really thinking out loudly. I really don't think that's a good example. That's more like, yeah, thinking out loudly is like when we're having like a discussion like,
About business or something.
or about something, yeah, about decision making things.
I mean, you already decided. You're
Yeah.
like, we're going to do checks like this. It's taking too many checks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but you don't need to tell me how, like, oh, because like you're trying to be touchy-feely with me or you're afraid to hurt my feelings about checks.
Yeah.
It like didn't really match up. So I'm like, no, if this is a business thing and this is how it's done, like how you do all the payments, I was just like, just tell me how to do it.
I think, yeah.
You
Well, it's not about being nice and fluffing about being clear and just saying it like.
But that's what you do.
Yeah, I know, and I have to work on that, obviously. But
and then you're saying like that's not a good example of talking out loud
that's not. Yeah, to address thinking out loudly, you have to kind of.
or thinking out loud.
Yeah, you have to kind of like back up your words in a way that it's understanding to the other person that you're talking to.
Do you mean buffer?
No, not buffer.
How do you mean? Like, give me an example. What do you mean by back up your words when you're thinking out loud?
So say if you, for example, you lost your job,
Okay.
right, at your 9 to 5, and then you're feeling bummed out, and then I approach you, right? And this is like the bad example of thinking out loudly here. Okay? This is the bad example.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, why don't you just, relax, sit at home and just
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just detox from all this.
Yeah.
And then if that happened to me, right? And knowing like how the male is supposed to take care of the family, supposed to bring the food, and then so you're making the money. And I'm not able to support you anymore, right? So it kind of gives a different fluctuation in our relationship. I would feel like super butthurt that if you said that.
Oh, if I
me.
said that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being insensitive.
Yeah, being insensitive.
Okay, but you said this is not an example of thinking out loud.
Well, I mean, that is an example of thinking out loud. But
I'm so confused.
yeah, but there's a way that you're supposed to approach those words and how you say it that way, Like this is maybe I don't want to, like this is two sides of the story.
I thought thinking out loud meant brainstorming.
No.
What does thinking out loud mean?
Just voicing your opinion, like just whatever comes up to your mind, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
and you
not
just,
filtering what you're thinking.
yeah, you're not filtering
and you
it.
just said it.
And you just said it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then before just saying it, you should kind of cut up those words and really analyze what you're about to say. So that's the con side if you just said it, right?
Okay.
Without any filter.
So thinking out loud is kind of like can be a con because maybe you don't filter your words
Your
because
words.
you don't understand the situation fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you're not not feeling any empathy, or
you're not sensitive to the situation.
Yeah, you're not considerate of the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from now on in the rest of this show, can you just use our real life examples so that I understand what the hell you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to tell me about a time and why you brought this up?
No, I thought, you would think of a time that we came across that.
Yeah, there was plenty.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
But most times, like, the person that's doing it, they're not conscious of it. Mm-hmm. And if I do it a lot, then you're more conscious of the events that happened, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just went through this double time.
And also know that we're two different people in a way that I let go of things really fast, so I do forget the events. If there was a event where you did it to me.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first one was that you told me of that I know for sure is the pizza one, where you're like, why did you get me pizza? I mean, I'm already trying to count my calories and lose weight, and I'm pre-diabetic, and why did you order me pizza? Mm-hmm. And I break out from cheese and everything, but I was just like, I want pizza right now, and I love pizzas, and I'm craving pizza, but I don't want to not get G anything, so I just get him a pizza, and when he gets home, then he'll have something to eat. Mm-hmm. So I'm like trying to cover all the bases, but mostly serving myself, right?
Yeah.
And so when you told me, like, why'd you do that? You should have asked me. You should have called if you wanted to get me something. You should have considered what I really want, right? And I was like, oh, okay, good, got it down. I won't do that again. And then we just came back from Maui.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
So how would we approach a similar situation to that, right? Mm-hmm. In a way that your opinion and all that, right, and how you approach me can still be two-sided.
Like how?
It can still be like not pissing off the other person.
Yeah.
How can we? You
told me to be considerate. Text me, ask me, right? And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll ask you next time, because I do find myself going to like, oh, I'm gonna go. I'm already out, so I might as well go get something to eat, and I'll think of something that I like to eat, or that you would like to eat too, but maybe you're like watching your diet, but I don't know which days you're watching your diet. But if I would have just, I had the impulse to just go buy McDonald's. And that day that I called you, I was out in Eastvale. I was already like made up my mind I was going to go get McDonald's. But then I was like, oh, he wants me to ask him first. So I texted you or called you and I say, hey, I'm out here already. Do you want something to eat out here? And then you told me, oh, well, McDonald's. I was like, okay, cool. So like I was already going that way anyway. But the fact that, I was able to stop myself and then remember what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's strong that you were able to pause yourself to really analyze your partner.
Not really. I mean, I'm very good at following directions. Mm-hmm. And when I just spoke to my mom last night, and I was remembering a lot of things from my past, I'm a pretty good learner. If I learn it well the first time, I will remember forever. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like there's a bunch of random ass facts that I remember because I learned the lesson really well. So I'm a really good learner, I'd say. And so when I learned the lesson from you, when you told me this is how I was like, boom, it popped in my mind. It wasn't hard. I was just like, oh, I should call him real quick.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you have those abilities. I guess that's the difference with me is I see myself being very stubborn when it comes to learning.
As you were when you were a child.
Same, yeah. Or when someone hands me a video game, if it's too hard,
yeah.
I like, forget it. I'm not going to play anymore.
If anything's too hard, you're like, forget it.
Yeah. But then if it's too fun, there's sometimes I will go like the
sometimes
extra mile.
You want a little challenge, yeah.
Like Mario Tennis.
Mario or Trials Fusion.
Stupid games.
But those were genuinely hard.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just needs to spark my interest.
Right. And then I was like, I would gave up already. And I'm a gamer.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it depends what it is.
I think the motivation has to, right.
Yeah.
It has to interest you. The motivation. I'm motivated by, I don't want to be scolded. That's one thing. I don't want to be scolded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always like, I don't like to disappoint. I like to please.
Mm-hmm.
So when you told me that, I was like being scolded. So I was like, I don't want to feel like that again too. And also I just respect what, you don't want to eat it, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm out here, so. And she would always call me and say, oh, you want something to eat, whatever.
And
so.
that, I feel like that's great that you mentioned that. I feel I need to try to get over the scolding part, because I feel how my dad taught me was scolding, yeah, and
Asian style, yeah.
And yeah, it's like, how do you now break that,
I had to learn that with Jenna. I scolded her a lot, and I didn't mean to. I just
it's like you're telling them the worst scenario, right?
No, just in the way that I say something. Hey, just like an Asian dad, like an Asian mom, like, and then because that's the way I was taught, and then when I went into Taekwondo, it was very much like that, and that was a big chunk of my life. So I have a lot of militaristic sort of training and how I teach, and I carried that on through a lot. And then even when I left that first Taekwondo place, I took the same thing to everything that I was doing. I thought it was discipline. I thought it was like, we're being strong, we're being like, this is how you learn, like military, right? And there are some good things about a militaristic style, but like, if you take all the fun out, it's cold, it's unloving, or it's unforgiving, or it's unsafe. It's like, you're no fun.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm out of here. Like, that's how it feels like. And
but how many years were you in there to influence your entire...
From 15 to 25.
25? I mean, we were together.
Yeah, I was doing Taekwondo when we were together.
Oh, yeah. But was it really
I tried. No, I brought my own militaristic style when you were in adult class, or when I was teaching kids, and it didn't work because they're very American in this new school. But I grew up in a very militaristic
But that didn't even
style.
faded when you start working for...
it faded,
Master Kwan.
Master Kwan, yeah. Like, it faded, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, you have to... tone it down.
So did you tone it down?
Of course, because I told, he told me to. And the kids don't respond that way, and they're just from the get-go not trained that way, versus the first school I was in, it was like the moment you get in there, it was very military. Like, they have that stick, and if your hand is not right, like if your fist is here, he will smack it until it's straight.
Yeah.
So, it's the right form. So that's where I'm coming from. So, and I thought I became, I had some great characteristics coming out of that.
Oh, I see.
And
so
yes,
15
that's
was
true.
like 7th grade or 8th grade?
That's like sophomore.
Sophomore in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in high school you can get influenced by whoever you're surrounded
Especially because I had like 0 friends, only in certain, like very, very few friends, until I, got into Taekwondo, and then it became like my whole world.
Yeah.
It's a cult atmosphere in those type of places, and I was definitely in that that mindset for sure.
Same, I would say same for any sport that you're in.
But I don't know with the martial, because I did volleyball, I did basketball, and it's
also who's coaching.
It's different, yeah. Who's the coach? Like, who's the head honcho? But then with martial arts, there's always this mystical thing about it. I don't know why. It's like, it was very much kind of like Karate Kid, but the evil one.
Yeah.
And they're all like tough guys and shit.
Yeah.
And you have your top, the master. You have like the Goonies, like all the peons, and then the captains, and then the grand master. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's where I was coming from. So I understand where you're coming from when you teach, right? But I'm like, I keep telling you, you need to tell me in a clear way, and not tiptoe around what you're saying, because it's still not clear, because you're trying to be nice about it, when in actuality it doesn't help anything, where you should just be clear.
And then sometimes when I approach, I feel like I'm scolding, or I'm just way too forward, and and then everyone gets pissed off, or they get really hurt.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I have to find that happy medium in my language.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, because nobody taught you, but you have to open your brain, because I'm your first teacher in that way, in that type of language, because I'm so conscious about, most of the time I'm so conscious about the way that I speak things and I frame things to you, because I want to be considerate of your language, like how you're hearing it. If I say it like this, probably it sounds like that. So if you could do that, if you could just get into people's shoes, maybe that will help. I'm not really sure.
I think writing would actually be the best approach, and actually staging up the atmosphere by saying, okay, today, I want to go over these topics.
Yeah, your writing is really clear.
Yeah, if I was to teach someone, I feel like writing will be the best approach, so they automatically know that they're in a mindset of being taught.
But sometimes it's a split second. Like you came over really quick.
Yeah.
And you just told me. But if you can just take your writing and how you formulate your writing, but you say it, that way it could be more in practice.
And then that would be where, you kind of have to do your own filtration inside your brain and cut up your words before I approach you in a way. So,
yeah.
But it just know that it is a challenge.
I know. That's why I keep
when I
just
speak to
telling you,
our team as well, or like when I, for example, or Jenna, right? Or if she was a second, sometimes I have a hard time, on the fly.
Yeah,
I'm like details, right? And that person is either not capable to do it that quickly. I have a hard time trying to
walk me through it,
that.
so maybe I can help you with your language patterns. Walk me through what happened.
So I know that in our relationship, about the mistrust and stuff, right? About, did you do that? Did you do this? It's important for us to have a checklist in our head when we're on a job, because we really don't want to go back home and unload and things are missing, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and you've done this for the team as well. You gave them a checklist, but I feel like it's slowly vanishing. And
nobody's us, remember that.
Yeah, no one's us.
No one's us.
But I sometimes feel like it's important that we still just kind of spit it out there in every event. Here's a checklist. Here's a checklist. Because they're not us, right?
Can you give me tell me what the hell happened?
No, nothing happened.
What?
I'm just giving you an example. Yeah.
Why do you say you have a hard time then? You must have gone through some situation. What was that situation?
It's just multiple events,
Just give me one situation and tell me clearly what happened. Don't speak generally to me. Because we won't get to the bottom of it if you're not really clear.
Okay. So our latest wedding, she's not familiar with the venue, the ballroom, where the actual ballroom that I was shooting the bridesmaids with. So I told her, after you're done shooting the guys, can you bring all the guys to where I'm at so I can do a group shot?
Uh-huh.
But then she didn't check in with me, and all the guys just went back to the hotel.
Oh, okay. So it was just a miscommunication.
But then I clearly said I needed them.
Yeah.
In the ballroom for me to do the group shot.
So she just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So there's how did you say it? Just like that? Or did you tiptoe around what you said, and then she interpreted as something else? Because many times you did that to me, and I was like, I'm not really clear what you need.
No, I think it's pretty clear that I needed the bridal party shots.
That's exactly what you said?
Yeah.
So no tiptoeing in this.
There's no tiptoeing there because I wanted that shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she just dropped the ball.
Yeah, everyone was gone. There was that, and then
Did she have complete control over the guys, or were they very were they rowdy?
They were hard to handle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could not really only be all her fault.
Yeah.
Because I ran into that too.
It's just a situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does this illustrate the whole like teaching thing or talking, not knowing how to say have a?
I would say, yeah. So for another example is like shooting the reception.
Uh-huh.
I have a sense that they're not confident in their shots if they're approaching me and showing what they got. So I don't know, it gives me the wrong feeling or something. So, but at the same time, it gives me like, oh, should I just do my own if you're,
If you're asking me.
But I don't want to, spark it upon them saying, you're not confident in these shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
So I just go straight and do my own shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to check in with somebody.
Okay.
Somebody who is learning. And I remember we did this a shit ton when we were still starting out. We'd show each other, what are your settings? You would tell everybody. It's like, for some reason, you're afraid to take the lead, and that it's maybe construed in a mean way.
Yeah.
And when you tiptoe around your words, that's actually more frustrating. Because,
you say, okay, these people are ready, right? You got to trust the process, trust them, that they will bring you great work. Yeah, and that's very true. Like, what she's been bringing to the company is amazing. She's bringing her own flavors, right? Qual's bringing his own flavor. Everyone in the team is bringing their own flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to, like, where is the line for us to still provide a sense of style, like a consistency of our company,
For yourself.
For all of us. As a unit.
I think it's for you.
Or as a unit,
Because they're already in our unit.
Yeah, I know. But I'm still kind of, it's still the own photographer's flavor, right? But how I'm seeing it, there's an In-N-Out is still an In-N-Out burger, right? At the bottom line, whoever's cooking it, yeah, it's going to be slightly different from other different patties and how they're made and how they're cooked. But at the end of the day, when they bite into it, it tastes the same.
It's a really bad comparison because to make an In-N-Out burger does not require the amount of creativity, skill, drive, ambition, problem-solving ideas, personality skills. Like, these people are very highly, highly specifically, nichely trained in what we do. We already ask so much of them, and to give up not only their own name, I guess, on their photos and the work that they produce. And I tell you this, like, more often than not, is like, when you're talking about pictures of photos of details, that's just for you. The client does not know the difference. And what we produce in post, it's consistently looked the same. If you want to talk about a systematic similarity of style within the company, we have still consistently put out the same stuff, and we've never, ever gotten a bad review or a complaint about details.
Yeah, I'm not really talking about the complaint or having someone like mad at us and talking crap about our work.
And they also need time to just do the thing. I don't know who will be ever any good in your eyes. Like, honestly, it's a pitless hole. It's like, don't even think about it. Yeah. Just do your own thing. Do your best job. And that's what I tell them. It's like they always feel, oh, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm like, you just do your own thing. We trust you. You bring a lot of other things besides perfection in details that we value a lot. And honestly, I think you need to lay up on that. And if you have a question of somebody's confidence, it's okay. Like, there was many times where you were unconfident
Yeah.
And you had to just figure it out. And you need to allow people figure it out. It's okay. If you make a mistake in our company, not spitefully, not maliciously, not unprofessionally, you did your best, and that's really all we can ask for. It's like, just do your best. Mm-hmm. And we support you. If you make a mistake, we will still support you. Because that's what a family does.
Yeah. And
so, like, I don't know, like that seems like really small potatoes in the big picture. I always like to look at the big picture, and I know you're very micro, mm-hmm. and I know you care about quality, but this micro, disalignment from your own work, like, it just really seems not very fair, because you were there. Mm-hmm. You were there when things were not perfect. You have to allow others around you to fall and get up, and fall and get up and learn.
How do they fall?
How?
Yeah.
Well, in your eyes, it's not when it's not yours. When it's not your own photo, they're already failing.
No, but yeah, how do they know they're falling?
How do they know?
Yeah, like who determines that they have failed?
Why should you determine it all the time? And why is not taking a shot like yours failing? It's only failing in your eyes, where it's a win for a client when they capture the memories. Did you get it?
Absolutely.
I got it.
But yeah, my question is, when do they fail? Like, how do they know they failed?
Oh, they will know.
How would they know?
They will freaking know.
Like, what are they comparing themselves to?
Whatever. They have their own path. You cannot control somebody's, how should I gauge my own growth? How should I learn how to talk to my mother? I don't fucking know. You got to figure it out. You have to have your own gauge, your own path. You can certainly draw an inspiration when you're ready to receive that inspiration or information, and then move forward. But you can't control like a scientist. Okay, here's your next, here's your next, here's your next. It's like a God complex.
I'm very kind of confused how we run our company, because we're still new. I would say everyone's new when they run their own company, mm-hmm. Because you can mold your business any way you want it.
Yep.
Just from my understanding, and probably from your understanding, when you worked at 9 to 5 and I worked in the hospital, we have standard procedures, right? Mm-hmm. And you created standard procedures within our company as well. But it's a very, it's just very surface based, right? It's make sure you got these. But in a standard procedure, when you're doing an operation, it's very specific, mm-hmm. right? You want basically aseptic technique. You want to make sure, you have multiple gloves on, things like that, right?
But you just said we're new. So a lot of these standard procedures will be evolving, or mm-hmm. even being created on the spot. And we have to allow the flexibility to let that happen. And you must forgive that this is not a perfect system. A hospital that's been running forever, and you must say some of those standards of procedure are actually wrong, outdated, even sometimes hurtful. They used to lobotomize people who had mental illness. So it's like, sometimes it's not about sticking to the plan all the time, but yes, we have a guidance and we have a foundation, and hopefully we have good mental health to be able to make good decisions. But these standards of procedure are evolving all the time. I just, sent Jenna out to her first client meeting. Boom. Now I know, I need to fix all this shit in my standards of procedure about how I would send somebody else out who's not you. But I just needed to know, boom, let's run an experiment. And that's how life is. It's we just go, let's find out and adjust and then move on. And I'm going to adjust again and then move on. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. I know we went off in a tangent.
I'm not really sure where it's going, but I'll go there with you. I don't care.
But I believe, I mean, this Sunday around, we're just, just letting it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I wanted to ask you when you were saying, we run a company that's new, and or what did you say? Like, how do people know? And I think you're maybe asking me, like, how do we keep evolving? Like all these people. And I think you're not totally responsible for that. You're not totally responsible for someone's evolution. We are here to support them, but they all really have their own individual lives.
Yeah.
And all that we can try to do is build some culture, some team culture, and we can reach out our hand, just like us going out together for birthday parties, like who's available, and that's it. That's all we can do. And we can just talk to people, maybe like more one-on-one. That could be a deeper level of our team. But that's it. Like, they have to decide for themselves how they want to proceed and succeed in life. And we can have levels in the company, but as we've kind of tried already, when I tried to do that and try to predict what a level can be for one individual, it's out the window because things change, or maybe you don't really like this sort of task, or it's not suited to you, so I have to adjust it, and that's what we just do. And so I think it's a lot easier to not try to predict everything in the future, and trust in our intuition. I think that's a good one. You can't really get that from anything else. Trusting your gut, trusting the process, I think. And then the next one is just having good mental health, like, so that you can make good, sound decisions, and you're not coming from a angry place or a hurt place or whatever, or a dumbass place. Like, so to just come from good foundations and good bones, and then being able to move and pivot and what we need to do, because the future is always changing. We can't really predict it. So I think with the company, it's like, yeah, we have a young, vibrant, maybe seems volatile because nothing is like set in stone. But I think that's okay. We're kind of like a startup in terms of having this team now. It's a new type of, it's the same business, but it's kind of changed. It's evolved a little bit. It's grown in size. So we're like, okay, what does this mean? Like, we have a new body and we got to figure out how to move with it. So I'm just allowing us to experiment. It's not like we're suffering, like if we don't have to have all the weddings. So it's a great time to test and run data and collect data, and then just make good decisions from that, but not being too afraid or anxious about the future in terms of the business, and just being like trusting ourselves. I think that's a different vibe that I'm trying to put out, is like, I trust us to be okay, because we make good decisions. And when it comes down to it, we don't really need to worry so much about, oh, what are they doing? But just like, as long as our circle, our little home is good, and we have a good homeostasis with our team, like, it's okay. They can like venture out and sometimes fail or make mistakes, because we have a good center. And yeah, we can't operate in a world that's like 100% perfect.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. So we have to be okay with those fails and fails.
Yeah, that's good. Were you able to come across and read that Blue Bottle article that I sent you?
Blue Bottle, the coffee company?
Mm-hmm.
I know about their acquisition. I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
You sent me one?
Yeah, I did send it.
Sorry.
But yeah, you can read it on your own time. But it was pretty inspiring in how he first started and everything. And although he was bought out by Nestle, but how he first started was pretty cool. I mean, he was just the same thing like us. His father was a business owner, so he was surrounded by like a businessman way of thinking. I forget his first business, but whatever he made from his first business, which was only like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, he liked doing whatever business that was. I just forget what it was. But then he also loved making coffee on the side. And he just saved up $15,000, and then that's how Blue Bottle was created in San Francisco, in a little like hut in
Yeah.
a way, and then he just kind of evolved from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
cool.
thought it was pretty inspiring, but I shared it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was 3 owners of Blue Bottle,
Well, it started with one dude.
and then you got.
Then you
like
have
he.
probably co-owners.
I
or-
see.
Yeah.
To
But
fund
he's
it.
the primary.
I see.
I forgot.
Oh,
his
he's the
name.
founder.
He's the founder.
Okay.
He's the one that, made it from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they cashed out, and then now
Mhm.
funding other projects or something.
Yeah. Now he's
Yeah.
doing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then,
Interesting story.
when I sit back and I read that article, I'm like, some people are just very gifted to have that mindset off the bat to jump from one little step to a very large step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't he? I mean, he was still very much an artisan roaster, right? Like
He was, yeah.
He was all about it. And,
He was all about it.
And the partners probably came in and took it to that next level.
That's true, probably.
Because an artist usually can't double as the sort of businessman that would
Yeah. Oh,
run in that sort of
yeah.
circle.
And then that reminds me of what I wanted to say. What he said is that now, before, he would just make $4,000, $5,000 a month, and that just goes straight into his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at a larger scale, making $700 million a year,
Yeah.
he's spending more.
Right.
So he's still making about probably $20,000, right, a month out of $700 million, and he's spending more than what he's actually receiving
Yeah.
per month. And I felt that was pretty amazing to know, because it's like, yeah, you can make so much. A company can make so much, but the people, even you as the owner in the company, really doesn't take home that entire $700 million.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
But even like $2 million or something
Yeah.
of that, you don't take that home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's all spent into materials, all spent into your entire foundation of your company
Yeah.
and all the people that's working in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, so that's what makes a business owner happy, that to know that their company is running and it's self-sustainable.
And people are being taken care of.
And people are being taken care of in a way. To a business owner, you feel good, like, okay, everyone's being taken care of.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm satisfied that I still make $20,000 a month.
Fuck yeah, 20,000 a month.
Yeah, but I would say, I was thinking he would make more out of that big chunk of 700.
But that's you on the outside.
Yeah.
I think he's already inside. He knows what's going
Yeah.
where. And he's like, dude, I'm very good with 20.
Yeah. But it's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's cool to know that even how large of a scale that just know that you're always spending more on your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
To continuously grow it.
Yeah.
You're giving more to the business than you're giving yourself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that struck a nerve with you?
I was like, whoa, that's a total different level, because as of right now, it's different for us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
We're at a level of like in just the hundreds, like it's not 700 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all relative, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, most of our money is not going to the business, but it is tied up in the business where
It's tied
we
up.
can't access it all the time right now.
Mhm.
So that's a way to look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think the ratio, if you look at the ratio of spending to what his net is, it's probably really similar to ours.
Yeah.
Because the number could be 700 million or ours is 100,000. But you just do the percentage, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah.
What's going where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy though.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean-
crazy. I mean, that coffee could command that,
Yeah.
like a buyout from Nestle. One of the major, there's only a couple of companies in this world that control a bunch of shit, and Nestle's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they opened a Blue Bottle in South Korea.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And one in Japan. They're just popping up everywhere.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Blue Bottle. When we went there, it was like, it is.
I never went there.
It's, we did go there.
We did go there.
Yeah.
I don't
During an
remember.
after training shoot, we just popped in because I was like, oh, I want to check out Blue Bottle because I want to see what this hullabaloo is about. And then we walk in, I was like, all right, cool. And it's like, it's good coffee, whatever. But people in the coffee world who are like roasters and in this field, they're like, they don't like it. especially now that they're a part of Nestle.
Why don't they like it?
They don't like the whole like, and I think it's kind of unfounded. You should respect it. I mean, any company that rises to that level, I think, does demand some respect. But who knows how they actually got there, like what really happened or whatever, to make that much money. How is it going down? Usually, when you get to the bottom of it, it's usually not the best way. Probably not the most ethically way. Because if you look at all the top companies that make the most money, they certainly cut some corners, and maybe got even around like paying taxes and stuff. While people like us are hella paying taxes. But anyway, we're not going to get into politics. But yeah, the people in the coffee world, like they hate Nestle. Because they're like a bad company.
Okay.
Like ethically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And coffee, this type of coffee that Blue Bottle like boasted about was...
But the coffee is good.
Caring about the farmer.
Is the coffee good?
Yeah, because they care about the farmer. Okay. They understand the brewing process. They understand how to roast. And a big conglomerate like Nestle eating up Blue Bottle is kind of metaphorically like, oh man, like the little guy is being eaten up by the conglomerate. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like...
but you just gave it up.
That same story. And then when I question it, they were like, "Oh, I think he's just cashing out to go fund his real projects.
Yeah,
it was just a vehicle to make some money." But then you tell me about the founder who's very passionate about coffee. Yeah, so there's probably a bunch of shit in there that we don't know.
Yeah.
Especially have two other partners, like you know.
They didn't really mention about the other partners. I only read up on him.
Yeah.
But the coffee is good, right? It's just the business side people are not fond of.
Yeah, yeah. The ethics of the company that bought them, because now they belong to Nestle.
But you're saying that people now learn about the company in that sense of way, like coffee lovers learn about that Nestle bought out Blue Bottle, and they just hate his coffee, or
I don't know if they hate it,
or they just don't support.
But they
his
just
coffee.
they don't support it anymore.
Okay.
They have like a sour taste in their mouth about it, and I just thought it was interesting because that's what I learned when I went to my roasting class, and I was like interested to see what people were saying because I wasn't like woohoo wow Blue Bottle coffee, like I wasn't an investor. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I wonder what the founder of Bodhi Leaf would do if Nestle wanted to buy Bodhi Leaf.
I mean, they would have done some things to
would they actually turn down the offer?
No. I think even to just get to that point, to Nestle to look at you've probably done some things that you've already gone against your mission. For Bodhi being Bodhi and them kind of like respecting their farmer and getting, they care about fair pay for their farmers and stuff. Like, I think it would just go against their original statement as a company. And I've met Steve, and he's super cool and chill. It seems like it'd be a bad fit, but who knows? Like, money talks. So
yeah. So like, if they're just done with it, they're ready to go.
Ready to move out, ready to just use it as a vehicle. But I don't know. Coffee's interesting in the next couple of years when crops are maybe not as sustainable due to global warming.
It's sustainable.
I mean, that's what they're saying. They're trying to scare everybody maybe to hike up the price or maybe hype coffee up.
Stop more roasters.
Being made and stuff or whatever. I don't know what the case is. There's always
just do what you love.
There's always some money issue.
Yeah, fuck all that.
But I don't give a shit. Yeah, exactly. Because there's something very like cool when you're just in your art.
Yeah.
And just like you, like when a bunch of new cameras and shit come out, it's very pretty. It's very cool. But in the end of the day, you're like, I'm just got to do my thing with what I got.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got to do my thing with what I got. And,
It's the same damn tool since, like, people shoot with film cameras, the same damn thing.
Yeah, same damn thing.
But, there's nothing to be afraid of. We, just like all those crops and global warming crap, we get permits everywhere we go. Like, we're faced with permits, right? Mm-hmm. And not everybody want to pay for permits, and we're forced to shoot at the same spot.
Photo permits?
Yeah, permits. Same thing with global warming. There's someone going to cultivate all these beans elsewhere. They're going to find a way, and
hopefully.
Coffee is in every culture. I don't think that's ever going to happen where you won't see any coffee anymore.
Well, you will eventually, like in the way ass future, nothing will be here
Yeah,
anymore.
but we'll be
It's
dead.
like, yeah.
So I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah, it's interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about healing the body.
Sure.
So how are you doing after we spoke yesterday about creating a meal plan?
Yeah, thank you for that. I've been following it today, and I like it a lot. And it took you 2 minutes. And I was thinking like, oh, I have to sit down.
Because you know
I have to make
I'm
a
very
list.
organized already. I already know.
Yeah,
Like,
you have a gift in that. I'm very like, just like we had that conversation about business, like let's go with the flow. Let's be flexible. You're like, like this, right? So it's great that you're like that. But yeah, I've been following my meal plan today, and my bloat has not gone down yet, but the celery I think is helping, and I'm on my second day, so
okay.
just see with that. I'm not on birth control anymore, so I'm starting to feel a little bit different also.
Would you feel like you need Curology?
I was thinking about that because I was like, but I think that's kind of like
Cheese?
No.
Dairy?
No, I think that's just an anxious mind.
Okay.
If I do actually need it, then I'll pursue it or whatever. But I never cared for my face before like I do now. So hopefully, I can just do that.
Yeah.
You know. And I was thinking, I don't really have that much acne. Are they going to be able to help me?
Normally, you don't even have a lot.
If I do get it, it's cystic.
It's just one though.
And it's like all the pimples that I could have had in 1 year into one.
Yeah, only
pimple.
one. That's not really a crazy what they'll call a breakout.
Yeah, but it's still like I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody on your side would probably be like, dude, you only got fucking one. Like, don't even fucking worry about it. But on my end, I'm like, nah, it's something to worry because it scars and it stays there for months and months, and it's just not cool. Like that's not me. Like, or when I look in the mirror, it's not me. But other than that, coming back from the trip, like, I just feel good to be back home, and like I'm taking this week to just really relax and have complete control over what I eat, and just do my work and just like try to get back to normal and heal. And then I just finished my antibiotics yesterday, so that's finally out of my system. And I feel incredibly lighter today. But I think a big part of that was discovering that I talked to my mom last night, and we had a massive opening of the floodgates therapy session. And finally, I was able to tell her all the things that I wanted to say. I'm still there. I'm sure there's still more, but I was able to figure out in the conversation. I didn't tell you yet because I was like still processing everything. And you're like, what did you talk about? I was like, dude, we talked about a lot of stuff. And then now and I told Jenna today, so I have had time to process everything, but I figured out, I think one of the major sources of my chronic pain, which was the feeling of being rejected. And what else did I say? You're not feel of being rejected, and then you not seeing what I'm going through. You not noticing me. You're not noticing my pain or my suffering. Because I was able to tell her, like, dude, from the moment I had that accident in 6th grade, and in 6th grade you're like 12 or something like that, 11, 10 or 11, something like that. And then during that time when I felt like she didn't even notice, she didn't even see me, she didn't even see what was going on to ask me or anything like that, just dropped off clothes and went back home or something, or went back to work.
Does she remember that time?
She remembers it vaguely, and she was very much like you. And I was like having a lot of epiphanies at this time, and I was like, oh, like she didn't even know. She didn't even notice. And she was like, I'm so sorry that you felt that way. I didn't mean for you to feel like that, and I didn't even know I was doing that. And but I found out that was the source, or one of the sources, because every time I would try to talk to my mom about something, and I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to go deep. We're going to be closer. We're going to talk about what I really feel or what you really feel, and not have this, I would call it a wall between us. I feel like you change the subject, or you don't want to talk about it anymore, or you're going to go clean or cook now. And then it feels like I'm being rejected, because I would be like, okay, here, let's go. I want to go. Let's go. Let's talk. And then you're like, you just change the subject, or I feel that you're getting angry, or you're turning away, or you're closing yourself off to me. And then I'm like, okay, I don't even want to push her anymore. And then it still feels like rejection. So it really hurts. And then it's happened like so many times, but I didn't even know that's what it was until I started to talk about it. I was like, oh yeah. So like, I think it's this like, being hurt from being rejected. Like you're not accepting me. And you would talk, and then I would hear stories of, oh, my mom talking to Michelle, or my mom talking to so-and-so about me, or about whatever issues that she's going through. And I'm like, why don't you talk to me? You know? So like being like left out, or just being rejected. And then I related it to you, and I was like, oh yeah, when she like rejects me, or if I feel, because you're not really literally rejecting me, I feel you're rejecting me. However you act, or you pull away if I try to touch you or something like that when we're in Target, like that rejection, I think is a source of a lot of pain and anxiety, and it manifests for me is IBS, anxiety, a fear of the future, and back pain or whatever. And it was so cool that how we came to discover it together, because I was telling her, you know what, I've been doing research about chronic pain, and they don't think it's anything to do with, oh, you have weak knees, go work out. It's actually having to do with a lot of repressed emotion and trauma from when you were a child specifically. And then I was like, then I was just talking to her. I was like, I wonder what that is. And then she went to go on and say like, because we were talking about that incident in 6th grade, and she was like, have you not forgiven me for that? Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, of course I forgive. We're both crying and everything. And I was like, of course I forgive you. I forgive you. And it wasn't like I'm angry or something, but I think I was just still hurt. And I just wanted my mom to like pay attention, to see what had happened to me, to see it and be like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get through it. Like, I'm here for you. Like, that's what I want to hear. And I was telling my mom that every time you don't have the conversations with me about whatever, and I feel like you're turning away, or you're closing yourself off, then I'm like, it's like you're rejecting me. You're not saying, oh, okay, let's talk about it. You know, it feels like that, I think, in my mind. And I was just dissecting it and trying to analyze, like.
So you felt like you weren't accepted or something in a way, like you didn't meet the standards of your parents?
No. Like, for example, you're really similar to my mom. So me hurting and going through my back pain the very first time, remember when I was trying to stretch out my back on the big bouncy medicine ball in Yorba?
Big.
Do you remember that? And we were supposed to go shoot an Indian wedding?
I don't remember. I mean, of course you'll remember the events.
So this one was like, I was crying, and we were really young, but back in like 2012 when I first injured it, and you were like, here, stretch out your back on the medicine ball or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And then when I did it, I just injured myself further. Mm-hmm. And then I couldn't get up. I literally couldn't stand back up again. And do you remember having to like lift me up? We were in your room.
I can't say I can remember that. So.
And I was just like crying so much because it hurt so bad. Yeah. And then I had to just lay there on the bed. And then you had to go shoot some wedding within Yorba. Like it was an Indian wedding or event in Yorba Linda. So it was so close. And like the fact that you asked me, like, okay, you ready to go? You ready to go? We got to go shoot now. The fact that you even asked me that was like, you didn't see what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And you do that often throughout our relationship. You're not, I feel like you're not seeing what I'm going through or even considering what this is and what this feels like. You're just like, okay, time to move on. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like no fucks given. And that's really hurtful to me. So that's how I perceive that. And that's just been going on forever. And then I didn't really know how to like verbalize it. And so I can't even ask you to correct that because I didn't know what it was. It was just like a feeling. And I think maybe on the outside, it is obvious. Like if somebody went through something really painful and you just wanted to get up and go and not even address what's going on or ask if you're okay or are you sure you can do this or some kind of reassurance or sympathy was just like not even there. You're not even looking. You're not even paying attention or you're not willing to look. That's how it kind of feels like sometimes too with you and my mom. I'm not even willing to go there. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm opening the door. I'm like, hey, I'm hurt. But you're not willing to ask, hey, are you doing okay? Like, I just want to know or whatever. And so I think that was a big source. And we were able to reconcile.
Depression?
It caused a bunch of stuff. So I've been doing a lot more research about chronic pain, and it's led me to there's an illness between the mind and the body in me, or people like me who have chronic pain, because pain is normal. You're going to feel pain, right? But when it's sticking around for years, that's called chronic pain. And so there's something else wrong that's keeping your body what they call in fight or flight mode, in a state of fear. And what your body does in this state of fear is it protects itself. So it will create conditions like IBS because you're afraid of whatever, XYZ. It will keep you in terms of it's thinking it's protecting you because it doesn't know the difference. So your body creates conditions or illnesses in the body to keep you home, to keep you safe, to not move. And you begin to just be like, okay, I'm safe, right? I'm not doing anything. But in actuality, it's like the worst thing for you. And it's just because your mind is tied to that emotion and being stuck in fear in that fight or flight mode. And you never got out of it. Like a deer will run for its life. And then once the danger is gone, he's like, meh. He'll like shake. He'll literally shake it off. And then he'll be like, okay, cool. I'm going to just go back to eating my grass, right? Humans can't do that because of how emotional we can be and all the emotional trauma that you carry from your childhood. And like a deer will live for like, what, a couple years? Like we live a long time. So we have a longer time to actually carry a bunch of shit from our childhood and have it form and manifest into all kinds of things. With me, it's IBS, the hip pain thingy, this random ass bunion that like, I don't even wear shoes most of the time. Why do I have bunions? It doesn't make sense. I have migraines, right? So there's all of this emotional repressed crap going on that I haven't properly dealt with or identified, and it keeps manifesting into this pain. So that's what my research has said. That's what it's called, like TMS or something like that. But after everything that I've gone through, I really believe it. And after I talked to my mom last night and we were able to really just release and pull arrows with each other, like I felt elated, just like so, like, oh, Mom, I really wanted to tell you that, like, forever. You know, like, I really wanted to tell you.
So you tried to tell her before and it just... Oh,
I barely tried, you know.
You barely tried.
And I told her why.
Well, I was afraid. You did tell Tony, though, right?
I told everybody else. Just like I told everybody about you.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to you about what I was wanting from you. I was like, it's so silly. I was like, holy crap.
But when you told Tony, didn't she listen to the podcast? The Golden Rule?
No, but I didn't say it in those very clear words that I just told you. Because I didn't really know what it was. I was just like, dang, my mom doesn't talk to me. and I would complain. I'm more like complaining on the outside to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really, what I'm really yearning for is this connection with my mom where it's like, I just, you know, you can buy me all the shit in the world. Like my mom likes to buy us stuff. But I don't really need that. What I really need is for you and I to have this type of relationship that I'm asking for. And for you to see, to see what I went through and to understand what I went through. And that's it. And then when it's time for you to share with me, like I told her too, like, I need you to let me in too. You know, like, yeah,
into what she's
going through.
Yeah.
Because when you don't tell me.
Did she express anything?
She did, yeah.
Okay.
It was really cool. And so I was like, we're not going to get out everything in one night, which is beautiful because we just can keep talking to each other. And I learned some of her own fears and her own things that she hasn't been clear about, and there was a lot of pain behind that as well. And I was like, okay, cool. So now I know too, like how I can be also better in this relationship. Because I was telling her, I take a lot of how I was with you as a child and I bring that into my adulthood, but I'm not a child, but I'm acting like a child in this relationship where it's like the moment I feel this look or whatever, I feel like, oh, I'm going to get spanked. I'm going to get scolded, you know? So I have this like fear-based mentality as a child, which it shouldn't be the case because my mom has changed. She's totally not like that now. And, but
we're growing
and I'm an adult.
We should be different.
And I'm an adult, right? But no, actually mentally, emotionally, when I talk to my mom, I become a child again. So and I was able to discover that and explain it to her. And then I was like, but I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be an adult woman talking to my adult mother, you know, and have this, you know, two women sort of relationship now. And I know we'll have a lot more to say on that, but I was just like so happy because I didn't think I'd ever get to that point. I was telling everybody, like, I didn't realize this too. I would complain a lot to everybody else about my mom because I actually am thirsty for this attention and for her not to reject me in terms of talking with me and being real with me.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because, when people complain about something, they just want to be heard by the actual source.
Yes.
Yeah, so when you're complaining about me to all of our friends, you just want to talk to me.
I just want to talk to you. But, you know, the fear that I had, it was kind of like a really similar fear. I'm afraid that when you're like, I don't have time or whatever, I would feel like rejected or something like that. And but I also realized how easy it was too, because when I finally spoke to you about certain things, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't mean to do that. Like money, that was a big one that I was like, I perceive it this way because of certain behaviors, right? And I'm like, but all I needed to do was go, hey, these behaviors that you're doing make me feel like this. Right. And I just need you to change that because I know you don't mean to do or say, so I don't want to feel like that. So let's just change the way you approach about these certain things. And then like we transferred that kind of attitude into everything. And we're trying to do that with the business now with like new ideas and shit like that. So it was actually just this whole like build up in your mind of this childlike relationship that you carry from your childhood. And you have to learn how to break free of that and like, just break free of that.
Yeah.
How you perceive the world. And then I was like, wow, I feel.
And you feel
light. I feel
light.
I feel less angry too. I have a lot of anger issues, and today
I knew you were angry when you got that UTI on our honeymoon, and the entire world was. You felt like
I was
falling.
I was incredibly angry. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, why does one thing lead to another, and why it has to happen on our vacation, and why can't I have anything good, and all that. It was like, I knew those words, and I had those words for myself before. I was like, before when I was young, I was very adventurous. I'm still adventurous now, but before I would get into a lot of injuries every year. one year I'm breaking a pinky, the other year I broke my chin, or the other year like I just fractured something, right? And then another year I got cystic acne, and then I was like, why are all these happening every year?
Yeah.
And I would tell my mom that. I was like, I'm getting pissed off. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do anything that's crazy. Which I was like a nerd for like 3 years.
What do you mean? Like you read comic books? Or
no, I just sat home, played Counter-Strike, and went swimming. The most like gentle sport. Yeah. And then after 3 years, I'm like, fuck that. I can't do it anymore. I just went out go crazy, mountain biking and all that crap. So
yeah, that's when I met. You were doing everything.
Yeah, because I was holding it in. I was like, I'm tired of getting injured.
Yeah.
I'm tired of all these things.
Yeah, I remember the first day I took CBD, and then I was like, woohoo! And then I went to go work out really hardcore, and then I came back and I got injured, and then I was like on the brink of tears, and I was like, why is it not working? And you're like, you gotta just take it easy.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to take it easy because I told you, remember, I was like, there's so much in me. It wants to burst out. I'm an athletic person. Me not doing sports is madness. And I have not been doing sports for over 6 years, right? So, and then like it's just like a vicious cycle. I was like, dude, I don't feel good. Like I should be doing sports,
Yeah. But to be honest, like that Maui trip, it was spontaneous. It was planned within 3 weeks out. And we're like, let's just go to Maui. And,
we've been there so many times.
And we've been there so many times. So it's great that we've been there so many times. So it didn't feel like we really lost out on any scenic thing. It was mainly just to relax.
Yeah.
We did sleep a lot in the first few days. And
yeah, it was awesome.
And when we snorkel, it wasn't the same effect. I have to be honest there as well. I wasn't like really just wowed because I felt like this year more than ever, I visited the ocean and I'm just in the ocean all the time, right? So it's nothing new that I'm in Maui in the ocean, other than I can see somewhat fishes swimming around.
Yeah, but it's the same fish.
But it's the same. It's the same fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that you're in the water with me when we're doing it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You just don't see that in Southern California where you're in the water with me.
It's cold here.
But and then the other thing is, like usual, like flying is a pain. Even how close Ontario Airport is, just flying in general. Kind of sucks, and just like how
really
Qual
sucks.
puts it together, you get there, you wait, you wait, and then you get on the plane, and then you wait again. You get off the plane, and then you wait again. Then you go to the hotel, and then you wait again.
Yeah,
and then you finally made it to your room.
Perfectly explained. Yeah. So it's like, that's why I hate traveling.
Then I went recently on Facebook, and I read an article. You can buy your own Airbus.
What?
Yeah. They're like selling those big ass airplanes.
But you have to come with a pilot?
No, you have to learn how to fly and everything. Yeah. But I was like, oh, okay, that's how those guys like just kind of pick up a company like Frontier or Spirit Airline, those little cheap ass airplanes, and charge people $50
like nothing
for a tiny ass seat.
Fuck that. So how was it was probably really challenging for you to be around me.
It was quite challenging because of eating for one thing, absolutely, and like I said, I haven't really adjusted, and I wasn't sure like if you did mention that you were going to start this meal plan, right? But then how I saw it, it was just, now we figured that you need an actual meal plan. You weren't on a meal plan when we were on vacation.
Yeah.
And it was different because it's old habits. You go on vacation, you splurge. You just go everywhere. You just go eat anything, right? Yeah. So it was very different. I mean, I was still conscious in a way that you had a specific diet, but sometimes, like the old habits overpowers the new habit. And I was like, just want banana bread.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I kept on enticing you with that, right? Banana bread.
Yeah, man.
But damn, it was hard, you know.
The fuck, man.
You don't know where to voice that, you know. Like, I can't go to a wall and say, "Man, that fucking banana bread was amazing," right?
Yeah.
So
you can say it.
Yeah. But that's like rubbing it in your face.
But
in
when
a way.
you ask me if I want some,
Yeah.
that's one step too far, man.
Yeah.
Especially when I already foretold you many more. What did I say? Like 5 times. I counted.
Yeah.
Don't offer me anything because it's really hard for me.
Yeah.
And then I hate it when you'll be like, oh, I want to go get In-N-Out. And then you'll be like, I was like, go get it then, you know, like it's cool. And then the one step too far is like, oh, I can't. It's like, you have the ability to fucking eat. So eat and then be done with it. Don't be like trying to do this fake ass sympathy thing where you're like, oh, I can't. You don't need to do that shit. It's annoying. Just eat what you want to eat. Just don't offer me any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been
like
challenging myself
insensitive.
yesterday as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you I went out and I ate after the meeting.
You already told me that you said you were going to go out and get your own meals.
No, I didn't tell you that.
Yeah, you did.
Yesterday during the meeting?
No, not during the meeting. When you were giving me the meal plan.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm helping you with this meal plan, and I'm just gonna like, you know, challenge myself not to like offer you anything or eat around you. I'm just gonna go get my own meals. I was like, good.
Yeah. But then I went to grab my own meal.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The guilt that you are projecting on me, that's from you because you went out, and I already know that. But I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's enough for me to worry about like me having like, oh, what am I going to cook for myself when my only options is 3 things?
Mm-hmm.
Or how am I going to mix it up today? Like beef, rice, and zucchini?
So how are you thinking of, other than a meal plan, what are you doing to heal your body?
I'm doing the emotional exercises, which are things like the show, like discovering things like I did with my mom, and keep doing that whenever I feel the opportunity is there, then take it. Because I think many opportunities arise for people to squash emotional bullshit and they run away from it or they ignore it. So when I feel those inklings, I want to not ignore them as well. And especially with my mom, because that's what I would do. I would just, okay, you're turning away, I'm going to turn away too. But then I feel left
So
rejected.
you would say you're I mean, other than myself, that we had issues that you had to draw arrows out and stuff. Your mom was the other person.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else?
I think that's it. Those are the ones that matter to me right now.
I see.
Yeah. And I want to just start there. I think that was the source of a lot of, for me, kind of like addressing the inner child. That's what this podcast I'm listening to, it's about chronic pain and how you start to heal. So I've been following her guidance and just really like, I knew that happened to me. I already discussed what the situation was, but there was something else that I hadn't really processed. So I'm just taking more time to process the things that happened to me when I'm little, or how I may have perceived things when I'm little, and then relate them into why it's manifesting into certain things now. You know, and trying to just kind of like follow the breadcrumbs and then see where that leads me. So I'm on like a breadcrumb trail, and every day I learn a little bit something new. And I do experience right now with just eating clean for 2 days. I feel better.
Yeah, and once you do it for 20 days, it will feel like a habit.
But I'm just, you know, it is still very difficult. So I'm focusing on smaller goals. The 7 days I think is cool. Documenting my food, like you said, is cool. I've been better about that on my app. And then taking all my supplements. And I think the celery juice is pretty awesome. And I think the plan really helped to go just seeing it.
Yeah.
Even though you can know it, but to see it
laid out.
And I'm a visual learner, so when I see it like that, it's almost comforting too.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, you're gonna eat this until this day, and you don't have to think or put so much energy in putting so much energy into like not only researching what the fuck's wrong with you, but then like taking action. That's like both a lot of energy to do, and that's not even doing your job.
Yeah, taking action starts with you.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way for like Tony to take action, to use Curology, like taking advice from someone that doesn't have any breakouts, right? But to tell someone else, right? Yeah.
It's not like I never had breakouts.
No, but yeah, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
and
Like not
then
coming
applying,
from a trusted source.
Yeah, and now applying it and seeing the positive outlook of what it can do for you.
Yeah.
And once you keep manifesting that it's going to work for you, it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see that he's excited that it works.
That's cool. Yeah,
And,
I'm happy for you too.
And you're excited to know that you're actually taking a step closer to your goals.
Yeah.
What you want
Yeah.
is to squash that chronic pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Or
sure.
control it somehow, you know.
Or just not be so at the whim of my emotions that has happened so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to be able to just release it. I want to accept what happened and accept all of that. I have my acceptance from my mother. I know she said, you can always tell me anything, everything, tell me everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like she said exactly like that. And I was like, awesome. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what a blessing. How many children have that opportunity? And I was thinking, oh, is it always going to be like this, where I don't talk to my mom the way that I really want to, you know? I was always kind of sad about that, and a little bit like, you know, and then angry sometimes too, because like, why can't you just do this, or why don't you see me? And I think that really squashed a lot of like inner anger. I had a lot of anger, and I think it stemmed from there.
Yeah.
From the moments wherever I felt rejected, it piles up, and I don't even probably remember a lot of them, but I think what happens is you just get really good at repressing your emotion. Like my mom is like aces at it. So you start to ignore, and it starts to turn into all these other things. Like, why is this always hurting? Like, I'm doing all the shit. I'm doing my yoga. I'm doing all this. Like, I eat healthy. Like, why do I still have this? Could be some repressed emotion stuff. Could be worth digging there and seeing what's up there.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we were able to do it. And I think...
Yeah, Qual was like downstairs, like, is she okay? Like, did she go to sleep?
You know, I knew Qual was here, but I knew that, you know, he understands, and he would not be offended that I'm doing this with my mom. Like, he'd be like, go back up there, you know? So I knew Qual would be okay.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like, oh, Meg's being rude or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's my friend, so he knows.
No, he knows.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we had that opportunity to do that, and I was like, it is surreal. It was surreal when I was done. I was like, I cannot believe this happened. I can't believe it. Like it's like you have this story like in your mind, and like you believe it really hard, and then you're pleasantly surprised. Like, it's like how I felt about you was like, oh, that wasn't so bad, you know, like it wasn't so bad. Like, he actually is listening to me, or he sees me or hears me this time. And this time I was able to get your attention, or this time, that's what I said to my mom. I was like, oh, this time I was able to get your attention. And it was so easy. Actually, I just had to be very clear about how I'm asking you, and just to change my language pattern. So it was like, oh, cool, I'm going to remember this lesson, because there's so many times where if I'm frustrated with you, it's a simple change of me just changing my approach, or changing the way I ask you, and to be more direct when why I wouldn't be like that is because it's a very irrational fear of that I learned long time ago in our old relationship, that you would act or be a certain person, but you've changed, you've moved beyond that. So I also need to change and move beyond with my perception of how you'll take it, you know? Mm-hmm. So, just like not letting old lessons dictate.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. It was so cathartic, like I was saying. It was just so like, wow, that was weird. That was crazy. That was intense. Like, we got to do that. I'm so glad. Like, I didn't wait till I was like fucking old, or then when she was old, or maybe didn't like, what are you talking about? Like, she wouldn't remember or something. Like, dang, I waited too long, you know? So I'm so glad I took the time. And then I found it, you know, not only that she had the courage to like stay there with me and keep talking to me when I'm like getting all crazy, or not crazy, but just getting very, very emotional. But I had the courage to go, you know what I really want to say to you? That's what I said. I was like, you know, I really have to say this to you. And she's like, tell me.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then it just like, bah, all came out. And it was like amazing. And I was like, like a child.
So is there anything that she was keeping in?
I would like to keep that between us.
Okay.
Yeah. But, cause she's not here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you everything about me, but I'll keep that for between us. Yeah. I'll tell you, but like not publicly.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's more respectful.
Okay.
They can know everything about me. I don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, I think I felt like, that was good to just go out sporadically this week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I felt like you came out with a lot of things, and it didn't really, it was more about your relationship with your mother this time around.
No, I mean, it is a big source, but there's still some with you, I think. Mm-hmm. When I was discovering all these things with my mom, I was like, oh, that reminds me a lot about my relationship with you. Like I said, you two are similar in how you will do something and I will take it a certain way. Mm-hmm. And then you both said, I didn't realize I was doing that, or I didn't realize you took it that way.
How do you perceive, like, before you even say like we're almost the same, or how we act are the same, like, maybe don't say it that way, right? Don't see it that way, or else you're gonna remind yourself you're just like my mom or whatever.
No, right? I think it's a good thing. Okay. I don't think it's a bad thing. It was a great parallel for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. Like, I already learned this lesson with you, and I hadn't transferred it to the relationship with my mom. And then I was like, just making the parallel, like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you look or say or do something to me, and I'm very sensitive when it's with you. And I take it really, sometimes I could take it really personally, or like, but if anybody else, I was like, I don't give a shit, right? And it's the same thing with my mom. Like, she can say or do or something, whatever, and because it's her, like, I will ruminate with the thought and be like, what did I do? Or am I in trouble or whatever, right? So like, all I needed to do was be like, if something did hurt me that you did and you're not aware of it, I just need to let you know. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I was like, oh, right. And I learned that with you. And I was like, oh, cool. I just have to tell my mom that, like, that thing hurt me in the past. Did you know that?
And in our relationship, you see us as equals, right? So that's how you were able to stand up for yourself, have a voice in the relationship.
Yeah, equally. I'm a woman and you're a woman, Mom. Yeah. Like, can I talk to you like that? Not be your child, because I'm always going to be your daughter.
Or else you feel like you're at a different level. You're talking up to this
exactly.
master,
you know,
right?
My mom is my mom, so I'm always like, please
Help me, sir.
Please help me, sir. I'm always like, don't hit me, right?
Yeah.
Don't hit me verbally, don't hit me physically. And that's what I carry from my childhood.
Yeah.
So in my adulthood, I should not be thinking that, right? But I do. And so that's why I would always like feel a distance between us. So I needed to break free of like my child self and step into my adulthood as a woman, and having a relationship with another adult woman who's my mom. So I feel like we did that, and it just felt so much better. And then she was able to gain awareness of what actually our relationship is, because she even said herself, she was like, I think I was in denial about some things, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like denial or just repression. Like, just, okay, like, let me just move on and do what I know. And, I'm doing my thing as a mom, and I'm doing my best,
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. We're all going to do that. But I was like, yeah, so I know you're not aware, and I know that's not your fault all the time. So it's up to me to tell you what's going on, what's the situation, and how I'm perceiving it, right? And then I just need you to be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. And now your awareness expands, right? So instead of it just being here all the time, and you're like, man, you just got to tell me where that rock is, or, I'm not going to see it. No, I'm like, the rock's over here. You can open your hands and you can see it yourself. Oh, okay, there's the rock. So like that, right? So that's kind of how I see it, where it's like teaching each other how to best communicate with each other so that we stop hurting each other
Mm-hmm.
and instead start loving for real. Like really be close the way that I want to anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's more clear now. Well, yeah, that's how I kind of see it, is about just being equal.
Yeah.
Even with your parents as you get older, and people, as they grow older, they forget that they're still a kid and they act like a kid around their parents. And now that you're older, you just need to just kind of talk to them, like, as
be a woman, be a man.
Yeah, be a man.
Step up, and it's not about being spiteful or blaming or shaking a fist or a finger at somebody. It's just being on equal ground. And the time that I felt that with you, that I could really feel empowered.
Yeah.
Not in power, but empowered. Like, oh, I'm here with you also.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me, I'm up here and you're down here. Like, and we did that a lot, where it was like this, and we would compete and keep score. But now we're here, and like, whenever we're down, we bring each other up.
Mm-hmm.
And like you letting me vent on the couch after the trip, because I was so distraught and disappointed, and like, I was really bummed out. Like I said, I was bummed out because there was so much that I felt like I didn't get to do. Not like I would do a lot of things, but I also felt, I told you I felt guilty because I feel like I keep you from doing what you want to do. Or eating what you want to eat, because you always have to like abide by what I'm eating and stuff. And even though I'd be like, go eat what you want to eat, like, you won't do it. And I'm like, well, my hands are tied, man. Like, and then the guilt, I think, rises. And like, I believe hardcore is guilt always looks for punishment. And then I was already building a lot of guilt and maybe a lot of fear in that trip up until that day I got the UTI. And even though I feel like we don't do anything different on any normal day, and for some reason, like, I get it, it's like something's up, like something deeper that we couldn't, I don't know, whatever. So and then I was just hit with more shit. like, oh, you don't want to go out? You don't want to leave the hotel? I'll give you a reason not to leave the hotel. Boom, migraine, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. It's really, when I was learning this on the podcast, that chronic pain podcast, I was like, that makes total sense. And the reason why is that the source of it, that's what's going on right now.
You're like using these things as like your like your attack or something.
Yeah, it's a self-sabotage.
Yeah.
In a way. But I was like, where's the source? The source is not here in the present day.
Yeah.
It's in the past. And I didn't realize what it was, and I think until that night I had the conversation. But I was like, I told my mom about my death dream.
Yeah.
And because she said to me right before we started to break down and get really emotional, she goes, maybe you should just ask Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Not in a serious way.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's not my language. It's not my language to speak to Lord Jesus. But she's like, maybe you need to ask for Lord Jesus the way, like how you're going to heal.
Mm-hmm.
But I was open. I was just like, okay, Mom, I'm just open. But my Lord Jesus moment was me dying in my dream. And I was asking myself during the whole trip while I was in pain, I was like, why? Yeah. Why me? Why this? Like, am I always going to be like this? Or is it going to get even worse too? Whatever. And usually in pain, I always do a lot of research. And so I go, okay, how am I going to do it? Like, I'm resolved, right? I'm like, how am I going to do it? I need to get a plan. I'm really lost right now. I know I need a lot of help, whatever, but I just need to start thinking about how am I going to do it. Mm-hmm. That's how I came across the celery and a bunch of stuff, and then your help as well, and then making the meal plan and all. Like, so things start to align when you're more resolved and be like, how am I going to find the way? But the death dream was like, your old self is going to die, and how you interpret the death dream is like your new self is going to rise. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes it takes a lot of pain sometimes to let that thing die and transition into the new one, right? Like they say being born is like really painful for a baby. And so I was like, okay, I'm maybe just going through a lot of pain and sickness because I'm going to be better out of it at the end of it because I'm going to go through a lot of changes. So I'm like in my little cocoon right now for my 7-day detox. Yeah. And then I'm going to emerge into a butterfly, a healed butterfly.
Can't wait.
I'll be like, whoa, B, yeah, I'm a butterfly.
Yeah, you better not scare me.
I'm a butterfly. And then I'll change it to a moth and you'd really be scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Chi?
I'm relaxed.
Did you heal your body this morning when you surfed?
It was a challenge for me because like this time I was like going alone. Yeah.
I thought you were going to take Steve with you.
No, he had something to do. But, and then I just kept telling myself it's such a solo, like, sport.
You like it or no?
No, I like it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Like, it's cool that, Steven came out. I wanted him just to have experience of surfing. So I think he likes it. I mean, he keeps doing it. Mm-hmm. But... yeah, I can't depend on his schedule. He can't depend on my schedule. So I was like, dude, tomorrow looks really great, which is today.
Yeah, it's good. You just went.
Freaking went, man. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to miss this opportunity.
That's like me when I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity to dance.
Yeah. So
even though I'm by myself.
I remember in high school when my friends, like, when we all started to drive and... we would wake up 5 a.m. and we'll be at San Onofre at like around 6.
Yeah.
And it was the best moments ever just because the water is just really calm. It's the morning. No one's even like up yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And whoever's out there is just whoever's out there.
Yeah.
But everyone's to themselves, or like you said, it's just you and the water, and you just need to pay attention to yourself. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, if even anyone came out with me, I'm still just...
You're still in your
zone. You're still in your own zone, and everyone has to be, or else...
you will die.
No, you would just get, you would just get plummeted. Yeah. So, today I was just in my own zone.
Yeah.
And it felt nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like I needed it. It was like time to yourself.
Yeah.
And when I just went out there, I was like, dude, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. And you're better too about like not pestering me about like eating our food and stuff today.
Yeah.
Like I was just doing my thing and you weren't there to be like, what are you eating? What are you making? Because oftentimes too, like when you ask that, and if I'm making a sad ass meal for my IBS diet, it's so boring. It only reiterates how boring and shitty it is.
Yeah.
When I have to say it out loud, I'm like, meat,
Yeah.
rice, what the fuck else? Like it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. So I like that you were not like chiming in and like asking me what I'm eating for the millionth time.
Yeah.
And just letting me do my thing. And I like that. It feels a lot more respectful. And
how if I get
sensitive.
dog house for your parents this Thursday? Like,
To me, it sounds like you want dog house. Because so you didn't ask and be like, what should I get for everybody?
mm-hmm.
So that's like pulling what I did was like, I want pizza. I'm going to get everybody pizza.
Yeah.
So when I texted them that, I said, don't worry, you don't have to eat it. You can bring still whatever you want.
Yeah. Jen want it.
Just to be nice, whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm sure my mom will like, because she likes Costco hot dogs a lot.
Yeah.
And she always puts hella relish on it and like all the fixins. So
Yeah.
I think she'll like it. But I just buffer it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you're, just buffer it. Say, you don't have to. It's just like she wants to do this nice thing. So
Yeah.
but don't feel obligated that you have to, eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, but how do you feel? Like,
I think it's great. I thought that was nice of you to do that. But
Yeah.
I just want to consider them for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, being like, I'm just envisioning like
You guys eating dog house?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
Because I got my meal plan, right?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be sad, but it's human.
Yeah,
I'm human. I was like, I'm going to look at the fucking food and I will be sad that I'm not eating it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no possible scenario where I will not be able to
Should
do
be like
that.
what you say like every time someone has an accident on a freeway that we should just cover our food.
Yeah.
So you don't see
fine.
what's happening.
It's fine. I just need to be stronger. And I'm over it already. Like, as long as you don't offer me and go, woo,
Yeah.
or like, ooh, like, I wish you could, like, taste this. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, just eat your food.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I can always go over there. Like, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be like all these SJWs be like, you must call me by my proper pronoun and bullshit. Like,
Yeah, you just strong lady.
I don't expect the world to change for me. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not an egomaniac.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you good?
I guess.
It's only if you're good too.
Okay. Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in into Past the Aisle.
Yep.
I'm Kevin,
I'm Meg.
and you can check us out on iTunes, Anchor, and YouTube,
Instagram,
Spotify, and visit our website. You can also access Past the Aisle under our info tab.
Yeah. Our website's at kevinlevuweddings.com.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Bye.
And bye.